A client sent me this scary video. Fortunately, she's on a Plan G. But for those of you who are on a Medicare Advantage plan and might have a plan exit next year, here's what you need to know, and more importantly, what you need to do. Here's what most people don't realize. Medicare Advantage plans can actually disappear overnight, not just during the annual election period, but I've seen plan exit in October, July. This can happen. And when they do, you have to follow a deadline to make sure you enroll in another Medicare Advantage plan or potentially a Medicare supplement plan. Now, that's the biggest mistake that people have when having or getting these letters is they don't follow the deadline. So be sure if you do get one of these to know. That's one of the biggest mistakes. Your Medicare Advantage plan can and sometimes do leave the market. Now, what can you do? What's the blueprint for never having to deal with this again? Like my client in the beginning that I mentioned, she has what's called a Plan G, Medigap Plan G. Now, the deal with the Medigap plans is they cost money to get. And there may be underwriting if you have already been on Medicare for more than 6 months. But that's what you can do if you don't want to experience this. And you have the privilege and the budget to be able to afford premiums as they continually rise. And we've seen just in this past year, premiums rise anywhere between 40 to 50% in just 1 year. So your $200 premium that you're paying in 2025 could be $300 in 2026. I've seen premiums as high as $600 per month. So you got to kind of weigh your uh, pros and cons and figure out which one's better for you. A lot of times I will tell my clients, especially in the retirement planning process, that this is something to plan for. Potential premiums that are going to be upwards of, $5,000 to $7,000 a year. But if you want to keep that flexibility, that freedom, that access, then you need to plan for it. Now, before I let you go, Medigap insurance sits right on top of A and B, which aren't really, in my opinion, insurance as we kind of think about it, like in the Medicare Advantage space. They act more like a almost guaranteed payer of whatever your doctor orders as long as it falls under the guidelines of Medicare Parts A and B. And the supplement plan that sits on top of that is automatic guaranteed payment of the financial portion that the plan is supposed to cover. Now, Medigap has its own problems, as I said, super high premiums. Another problem is that it doesn't offer dental, vision, hearing, or any of that other wonderful stuff that you might hear about that all these Medicare Advantage plans are saying that they have on TV. But it buys you comfort in knowing that that video that my client sent me does not affect you. And so you don't have some huge change in your life. Now, granted, as I mentioned earlier in one of the prior mistakes, Medicare Advantage plans change every year. So if you want to get out of that, then you would need to choose a Medigap plan or, and I highly caution against this, but you could go back to just A and B and have a boatload of money saved up because A and B have no maximum out of pocket. What that means is you could be looking at an uncapped bill of either the 20% that Part B doesn't pay for, which could be really high. There's some procedures that out of pocket, even with that 20%, are going to be in the thousands of dollars. And the hospital side, where if you're in the hospital for over 30 days, you start accumulating even higher daily copays. So it is prohibitive to not have something. It, and you do have to buy Part D, which in some areas has gone up from $20 a month to $50. And I've seen plans that are over $120 a month. So there's lots of things to consider. Now, what I would do, I would just have a plan. So if you are on a Medicare Advantage plan, just do what I mentioned in this video. Reassess your plan every year and be wary of the network changes, the doctor changes, and the plan exits that could happen. That's fine. If you want to get out of that and you have the budget to comfortably afford a Medigap plan and a Part D plan, and if you need it, dental and vision, then consider getting a Medigap plan. I would choose somewhere between Plan N, Plan G, or high deductible Plan G. You can talk to an agent to figure out which one of those best fits kind of your risk tolerance, how much premium you want to pay versus how much out of pocket expenses you can, in some cases expect. And then Part D, you will have to keep every year kind of going through that selection process. And with one last thing on Part D, because I don't know if I'm going to actually make another video for Medicare, simply because I don't know what the demand is on this channel. But for Part D, I have said this on my Twitter account, I have said this in a LinkedIn. In my area, my county that I live in, not that I service, but that I live in, only 2 out of the 15 plans that are available pay me a commission, which means that 13 plans are what we call non-commissionable. So that means an agent, when looking at these 15 plans, even if the one that is better for you won't pay them a commission, how well do you trust your agent, right? So what I would suggest doing, and last year I enrolled probably more than 80% of my clients in a plan that didn't pay me. Why? Because I just can't do it. Not everyone is like me. Not everybody has the luxury of having, um, their base expenditures pretty much paid for, and do kind of the Medicare stuff as a fading out old business, and you friends with your clients. So it's a little bit different in my personal situation. But for most agents, I would say, and it's not wrong, because when we do our enrollment, when we set up our platform, we actually on default show our clients on their self-enrollment side only the plans that pay us money, only plans that pay us a commission. So learn how, if you want to, down below in the comments, like this video, share it with your friends. If you want me to go over a video that teaches you how to use Medicare.gov, the government's website, to select your own plan without the help of anyone else, maybe your kid's nephew, you know, tech savvy friend, internet savvy friend, really, um, then I can make that video. But if not, it's okay. I'm sure there's a ton of videos out there that help you go through that. With that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Do good things, and maybe I'll see you in the next video.